you know, as I was looking at this, the Lord was showing me about our environment. You know, even with the man, the blind man, God could not heal him. Jesus could not heal him because of their unbelief. He had to take him out of the city. So that shows me about even when we believe in God for a miracle, we believe in God for something to happen, we got to be careful who's around us. You know what I'm saying? Who we allow to be around us, because see, you know, if we ain't in the right environment, you know what I'm saying, those around us can hinder that very thing that we believe in God to do. You ain't got to say nothing to them, you ain't got to, but just that spirit, you know what I'm saying, can hinder what you believe in God to do. So that environment is so important. Chapter 17. Can you read that verse 1 through 6?
Luke 17, verse 1 through 6. Then he said to the disciples, "It is impossible that no offenses should come, but woe to him through whom they do come. It would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck, and he were thrown, and if a millstone were hung around his neck, and he were thrown into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. Take heed to yourselves. If your brother sins against you, rebuke him, and if he repents, forgive him. And if he sinned against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day returns to you, saying, I repent, you shall forgive him." And the apostle said to the Lord, "Increase our faith." So the Lord said, "If you have faith as a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, be pulled up by the roots and be planted in the sea, and it would obey you."
This is good here. Because even with this, you may say, well, what does forgiving somebody have to do with my faith? See, it's impossible for us to walk in faith and we walk around with unforgiveness and bitterness. If we walking around with hurt, and even when somebody wrong us, Jesus said you got to forgive them 7 times 7. And they said, how can we do this? Lord, increase our faith. But see, it's got to be up to a point we're willing to give up of ourselves, even when people are wrong us. You know, even the Bible says, even when they come sincerely, repenting to you, it's your duty to forgive them.
Right.
But sometimes we want to hold on to things that because you offended me, you hurt me, or even I said, well, you know what, I forgive you, but I ain't gonna forget. See, that ain't really getting us into a place where we can really move and operate in that God-given faith. Because in order for things to manifest in our life, as we speak a thing, as we say something, he said, even to this in verse 6, he said, as if you had faith as a grain of mustard seed, you might say unto this sycamore tree, be plucked up by the root. And see, the thing about it, he's saying that if we have that much faith, we can say to a sycamore tree. When I went and looked up that word sycamore, sycamore, it's sycamore. It's a sycamore tree and a sycamore tree. They say the sycamore tree was known to have one of the deepest root structures of all trees in the Middle East. It was a vigorous and robust tree that grew to a height of 30 feet or more. The roots went down deep into the earth that it made difficult to kill. Hot weather, drought had little effect on this tree because of its roots. The roots are so deep into the ground where it reaches a source of water to sustain life. Even cutting it down to the base would not eradicate it.
Good God. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so Jesus was saying that that's how unforgiveness and bitterness is.
Whoa.
Like your sycamore tree, it's deep down. When you got deep down hurt, he said, but if you have faith, you'll be able to speak to that hurt and it'll uproot.
Love it.
He said, but see the thing about it. See, when we in our own mind saying they done hurt me, they did me wrong, we're just like that sycamore. Our roots are so deep down in that hurt and in that bitterness. See what I'm saying? We can't walk in faith. We can't walk in love. We can't forgive nobody 7 times 7.
Jesus.
Awesome.
And it shows here, it said that the roots are so deep down in the ground, it searches for a source of water. So basically, to me, that sounds like we search for a reason to be mad.
Good God.
We search for a reason to feel like we feel.
Yeah.
And see, that's what that sycamore tree said, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to dig so deep down, I'm going to find me some source. Because it showed that even if it don't rain, it can be a drought, and that sycamore tree will still grow.
Good God Almighty.
And that's just like us. It shows that sycamore tree, if we allow for that bitterness to come in, no matter how much word that we may hear, no matter how much church we go to, when we still harbor bitterness, see what I'm saying?
That's good.
It ain't going to be no effect.
Wow.
There ain't going to be no effect. Because see, we so deeply rooted that they can't get to us.
Jesus.
So